Okay. Can everybody see this muscle chart?
Yes.
Yep.
Good. Okay, good. There are 116 muscles on this chart. No, I don't want you to know 116 muscles, but I do want you to know the ones that I'm pointing out to you this morning in this class. I also want to remind you that next Monday we will have a review of Chapter 9, Chapter 10, and the muscle chart. And Wednesday, the 21st of April, is exam number 4. Again, it's online. It's 55 minutes. It's timed. You have between 9 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the afternoon to take it. If you have an accommodation, you start at 6 o'clock and you can finish at 11:30 p.m. and you have more time. Any questions on that before we start talking about the actual muscles? Okay.
Did you say it's due tonight?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you say it was due tonight? I'm sorry.
What's due tonight?
Did you say homework or something?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I didn't even mention homework. Did I? I don't think I mentioned it. No.
Sorry, my computer was being weird. I don't know. I thought you said something was due at 11:30.
Oh, no. That's exam number 4 for students with accommodation. They have till 11:30 at night to take it.
Is that today?
No.
Oh, sorry.
The exam number 4 is a week from today.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Everybody okay? Everybody's good? Don't panic.
I thought
Good
you
Lord.
meant tonight too, so yeah.
Oh no, it's no, God no. It's here's what we're going to do. On Monday of next week we're going to review, and on Wednesday of next week you have exam number 4. Some of the homework is probably due within that period of time, but that's what we're talking about. Any questions before we continue? I want to make sure we all understand each other. Okay, this is a muscle chart, and these are the major muscles of your body. And like I said before, there are 116 of them. No, I don't want you to know 116 muscles, but I want you to know probably about 80 to 100, okay? This chart shows you the name of the muscle, the origin, the insertion, the action, and the nerve that innervates it. All you have to know is 3 blocks here. 2 blocks, I lied. 2 blocks. The name of the muscle and the action of the muscle. I am not going to ask you the origin. I am not going to ask you the insertion, and I am not going to ask you the nerve. Okay? The only thing you have to know about the origin and insertion is what those terms mean. And we went over that in the chapter of the function of the muscles. Okay? So let's start. The frontalis muscle. The frontalis is exactly what it says. It's in the front of your head. It's in your forehead. Okay? Its action is to raise your eyebrows, to wrinkle your forehead. That is the action of the frontalis muscle. There are 2 other muscles of eye expression that I want you to know. The third one here is the levator palpebri superioris. Let's look at those words. Levator, it means to elevate. Palpebri, the Latin word for eyelids. And superioris, that means it is superior. So we're elevating the eyelids. The function of the levator palpebri superioris is to raise the eyelids. The third muscle of eye expression that I want you to remember is the orbicularis oculi. Its action is to blink your eyelids, to squint, and to draw your eyebrows inferiorly. So when you squint or blink, it's because of the orbicularis oculi. Okay? Now, let's talk about the movement of your eyeballs. There are 6 muscles that move your eyeball. The superior rectus elevates your eye. The inferior rectus depresses your eye. The medial rectus makes your eye move medially. The lateral rectus makes your eye move laterally. And those are the 4 eyeball movers that I want you to know: the superior, inferior, medial, and lateral rectus. Those are those muscles, okay? Let's see where we can go from here. The mouth movers, there are a lot of them. The ones that are important that I want you to know, look at number 15, the buccinator. The buccinator muscle allows you to hold food between your teeth during chewing. It compresses the cheek. It allows you to suck. It allows you to suck on a straw. The buccinator muscle. The other muscle of the mouth that I want you to know is the orbicularis oris. Okay? Do not confuse it with the orbicularis oculi. The word oculi means eye. The word oris means mouth. The orbicularis oris. It closes your lips. It allows you to kiss and allows you to whistle. So the 2 muscles of the mouth, I want you to know the buccinator and the orbicularis oris. All right? The mandible movers. What happens to your jaw? Well, the masseter muscle, number 20, is the prime mover of jaw closure. It elevates the mandible. And when you elevate the mandible, you close your mouth. So the masseter is the prime mover of jaw closure. And that's the one I want you to know. That's the one I want you to know. Okay? What about the tongue movers? The tongue movers. By the way, the tongue is called the glossus. So there are 3 muscles involved in tongue movement: the genioglossus, the styloglossus, and the hyoglossus. The one that I want you to know is the one that you're able to stick your tongue out at somebody. Primarily protrudes the tongue, the genioglossus. So only one of those do I want you to remember. Swallowing muscles. There are a lot of swallowing muscles. Okay, a lot of them. But the one that I want you to know is the digastric muscle. The digastric muscle opens your mouth, depresses your mandible, and allows you to swallow. Digastric. You don't have to know any of the others. Just know the digastric muscle is one of the major muscles of swallowing. The whole head movers. I want you to know the sternocleidomastoid because it is the prime mover of flexion of the head. It rotates the head towards the opposite side of the body. It is the prime mover of head flexion, the sternocleidomastoid, otherwise known as the SCM. Okay? Whole head movers. The torso extensors. The torso extensors are very important because it allows you to stand up and have an erect spine. So to have an erect spine, you need to have the erector spinae muscles involved. And there are three of them, okay? The erector spinae iliocostus, the longissimus, and the spinalis. Know them as a group. As a group, the erecti spinae muscles make your vertebral column erect. It extends your vertebral column so you can maintain your posture. The ability to flex your vertebral column when you're picking up something is the function of the quadratus lumbricorum. All right? So I want you to know the erecti spinae muscles as a group and the quadratus lumborum, which allows you to flex your torso. The breathing muscles, well, you already know that the diaphragm is the major muscle of inspiration. When it flattens or contracts, air comes in to your lungs. So the diaphragm is the major muscle of respiration. There are two other muscles that assist in respiration. They are synergistic to the diaphragm. And those muscles are the external intercostals and the internal intercostals. The external intercostals help the diaphragm in inspiration. The internal intercostals is antagonistic towards the diaphragm because it is involved in the expiration of air. So I want you to know the intercostals and I want you to know the diaphragm. The abdominal muscles, they are all important. They're all important. The rectus abdominis, the external and the internal oblique, and the transverse abdominis. Okay? All of these muscles are involved in flexion, stabilization, and increasing abdominal pressure to your abdomen. The rectus abdominis, the external oblique, and the transverse abdominis. All right? The pelvic floor muscles are not important. I'm not going to ask you any questions on the pelvic floor muscles. The shoulder movers. The shoulder movers are very important because they obviously move your shoulder, okay? But the ones that are very important, go down to number 52, the trapezius. The trapezius muscle stabilizes, raises, retracts, and rotates your shoulder blade. That's why the trapezius muscle is important. The levator scapulae. The levator scapulae elevates your shoulder. The rhomboids, the rhomboid minor and the rhomboid major, both of these muscles together rotate your shoulder joint. They are synergistic with the trapezius in rotating and stabilizing your shoulder. So I want you to know the trapezius, I want you to know the levator scapulae, and I want you to know the rhomboids. The arm movers. The arm movers are also important. The pectoralis major. The pectoralis major rotates your arm medially. The latissimus dorsi. The latissimus dorsi allows your arm to go out away from the body. The latissimus dorsi. The deltoid. The deltoid is named because it is a triangle. And the deltoid flexes and medially rotates your humerus. It acts together with the pectoralis major to rotate your arm medially. And then we have the four muscles of the rotator cuff: the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the subscapularis, and the teres minor. These four muscles, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis, and teres minor, make up what doctors call the rotator cuff. The rotator cuff, which these four muscles make up, stabilizes your shoulder joint. It allows you to raise your arm above your head. These four muscles are all rotating muscles. That's why it's called the rotator cuff. So the rotator cuff comprises the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the subscapularis, and the teres minor. So those are the muscles I would like you to remember from the arm movers. Let's go down to the forearm. The forearm, there are three muscles that flex the forearm at the elbow. They are the biceps brachii, the brachialis, and the brachioradialis. I want you to focus on the brachialis. The brachialis is the major forearm flexor. It allows you to do this. It allows you to do this. The brachialis. Okay? The forearm extensor is the triceps brachii, otherwise known as the triceps. Okay? So the major extensor of the forearm is the triceps brachii, and the major flexor of the forearm is the brachialis. Okay? You don't have to know the forearm rotators. The wrist flexors. The wrist flexors are simple because they're basically named flexor. Flexor carpi radialis. Flexor means flex. Carpi means wrist. And radialis means it's on the radial side. The flexor carpi radialis is the powerful flexor of the wrist. The palmaris longus is a weak flexor of the wrist. The flexor carpi ulnaris, which is on the ulnar side of the wrist, is another powerful flexor of the wrist. So I want you to know the flexor carpi radialis and the flexor carpi ulnaris. And now we also have extensors of the wrist, and they're called extensors. Extensor carpi radialis longus and extensor carpi ulnaris. Both of these muscles extend the wrist. They extend the wrist. Okay? The finger movers. The finger movers, the only one that's important is the abductor pollicis longus, because it abducts and extends your thumb. It allows you to do this, to get a ride, to say everything's okay. Abductor pollicis longus. The thigh movers. The thigh movers are all important, but what the ones that I really want you to know are the gluteus muscles. There are three of them: the gluteus maximus, the gluteus medius, and the gluteus minimus. They all extend the thigh. The gluteus maximus is the major extender of the thigh. It laterally rotates and abducts the thigh, and when you're standing, it has no function. The gluteus maximus, the major extender of the thigh. The hamstrings. I want you to know all four of them. I'm going to ask you on exam number 4, I'm going to give you 3 muscles, and I'm going to say to you, these are the 3 muscles of the hamstrings. What is the 4th muscle? And it'll be multiple choice, and it'll be there. But you've got to know that the biceps femoris, the semitendinosus, the semimembranosus, and the popliteus all make up the hamstrings. And the hamstring's function is to extend the thigh and flex the knee. That's what the hamstrings are for: extending the thigh and flexing your knee. The quadriceps. The quadriceps are 4 muscles. Know them all: the rectus femoris, the vastus lateralis, the vastus medialis, and the vastus intermedius. All of these muscles extend your knee. It allows you to kick a football. It allows you to kick your friend. Okay? So know the hamstrings, know their function, and know the quadriceps, and know their function. The foot movers. The foot movers are important, but only 2 of them are very important. The tibialis anterior. Tibialis anterior is the prime mover of dorsiflexion. It allows you to put your foot up. Dorsiflexion. Put your foot up. And the other is the plantaris. The plantaris is the opposite of the tibialis anterior. It allows you to flex your foot. So tibialis anterior makes your foot go up, and the plantaris makes your foot go down. Okay? There's a new word here: dorsiflexion. Dorsiflexion means it's flexing upward. That's really extension when you think about it. And the plantaris has plantar flexion. Plantar flexion. Okay? So those are the foot movers: tibialis anterior and the plantaris. The toe movers. There's only 2 of them that I want you to know. The extensor hallucis longus. It extends the big toe. It dorsiflexes the foot. And the flexor hallucis longus. It plantar flexes your big toe. Okay? So the extensor extends your big toe, and the flexor flex is your big toe. And the word hallucus is big toe. All right? And that is it. Those are the muscles that I want you to know. Those are the muscles that I want you to know. Let me stop recording.